You're now listening to CHRISPIRACY.
Chris X Matt. Question everything.
Break the matrix.
We are the ones they fear.
If we don't make the change, it's never going to change.
CHRISPIRACY.
Yo, welcome back to another episode of CHRISPIRACY. I'm back, your host, Chris X Matt, the one and only. There's many Chris's out there, but there's only one Chris X Matt, and that is me. That is I. Welcome to the only podcast where we continue to break the matrix. We have another very special episode today. We're joined by a very special guest today. Some might say he's controversial. Some might say they like the knowledge. Some can't take the energy. I fuck with the energy. I like this type of energy. I'm a rooster myself. I like aggressiveness. I like alpha shit. I like masculine spirituality. You guys heard me say this many times on my pod. I want to make spirituality cool amongst men, and women have given spirituality a bad look throughout the years, and that's why it's always been a turnoff to me personally. I'm speaking for myself. As far as astrology and all the numerology shit, they always make it a turnoff and make it about relationships and make it about love. And even though you could utilize it for that, it gets way deeper than that. It gets way deeper numerology wise too. This shit really is a matrix, and shit's encoded, and numbers really speak high vibrations. And our guest today, he's to me, the content he puts out on Twitter, you guys need to be following him, because I just like what he be saying. And some people, just like I said earlier, they can't take it. They can't take the truth. And some may say he's rude, he's aggressive. And sometimes you forget to take the message, and fuck the messenger. Take the message from whatever's being said. And I think we gotta start separating the messenger from the message. But I'm gonna let him tell it, because I'm excited for this episode. I known him from his Capri Elite days, but now he's rebranded himself. He's a brand new account. He's getting his movement started. He wants his power. He wants his clout. He wants to come and make a change in a positive way and really help us use numerology to really just help us in our lives in a real way, not just have information and not utilize it really. It's like, okay, you know about number energies. For example, myself, I know about it, but am I really utilizing it to the best of my ability? I'm not. I know I'm not. But it is fun just to know about numerology. But this guy, I feel like he applies it, and he figures out his own ways, and I think that's what it's about too. Like, fuck following someone. It's cool if you know. It's always nice to give thanks to the person that helped you and that gave you this knowledge and this insight. But when you embark in your own journey and you want to spread your message in your way, and help people in your way, I'm all for that, bro. As long as you're just respecting everyone's cool, I'm all for that. So today on CHRISPIRACY, we got the young god, Capri Elite. How you doing today, bro?
Hey, I'm doing very well. You know, the intro was making me smile. It fits perfectly. So yeah, I used to go by Capri Elite 33. Now I go by ML0338. It's a little bit of a play on words. My first two are my initials for my name. But yeah, there's a lot of things I like to cover. Mainly the knowledge the knowledge that I like to develop is primarily focused on making like the energetics, the abstract apply to your life. So yeah. So
for those who don't know about Mike himself, can you tell us about how you got to where you're at now, numerology, and wanting to pursue this new path in your life?
Yeah, so when it came down to it, I always had like a subconscious understanding of the numbers. Like I would always do things around certain dates very subconsciously. I wasn't really activated. Like, for instance, one of my first long-term girlfriends, we did like a little ritual where we started dating on a certain date. I believe it was on the 2nd of December. And then we made it like official on like the 22nd of September. So it's like I always like had like a subconscious understanding of how like certain dates work. Obviously, the 2nd is a number of peace, and the 22nd is the number of like master building. So it's a very strong energy to like compound upon. And after that, it was mainly like I found Gary on Twitter, and then I started to like get interested in the numbers more, because he seemed like he knew what he was talking about. I tested him out a bit. I tested him out for like a year, I believe. to see if he knew what he was really talking about. But he was a major catalyst, and I've always been interested in numbers. Like I've always been looking at how things work, how going past like, you know, the knowledge that's out there, like trying to connect the dots myself.
Yeah.
So it's primarily been like, I mean, there was no real like single moments or anything like that. It was just like a compounded effect of me focusing on like developing my own knowledge.
How did you come across the Gary's Twitter? Were you just searching numerology stuff, like topics on there, or how did that come about? The first time you came across Gary, like the first time you like, who's this guy that's talking about numbers? Because he seems like he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, let me think about that. I think it was just like somebody shared something that he tweeted out, and I started to like look at his profile, started to look at the predictions that he was making, and that's when, like, you know, because obviously everyone talks about these type of things, like everyone talks about astrology, numbers, right, blah blah blah. No one really applies it in a way to where you're actually like getting like practical results. And Gary was like making like, I believe he made like some sort of prediction, but it wasn't like a single event. Because like I said, I tested him out for a year. Like I remember DMing him. And asking him like, what did I ask him again? I asked him like, how come you don't give this stuff out for free? And like just to see what he would say, because, you know, people who are winners, people who are really about it, they have certain responses to this stuff. Like they've already thought about this stuff for a while, and they have like a really, like a winner has like a really well-developed response to that stuff. And that's like the main thing that started tipping me off to him. Like, okay, like what's this guy really about? So I asked him a few questions like that, and he passed the test.
I'm not gonna lie, Gary was my introduction to numerology. I think it is for a lot of people, but he actually made that shit look cool to me, bro. Like he gave spirituality, GG33, all you guys really gave like spirituality, numerology, and astrology a whole different face. Like you guys really rebranded that, you know, that whole scene to me, in my opinion, because I'm like, I can get with this. Like these people they're talking the way I like, you know, shit to be said. It's not about the love and all that. So I was super turned on when I heard Gary, you know, talk about numbers, and, you know, just obviously figuring out my birthday numerology. It's like, oh shit, like that's crazy, and you start spazzing out about it a little bit, but you know, it's interesting, bro, because the synchronicities are like, you know, that's why I believe it. And if you believe we're in a matrix, like, you know, he says a simulation and it's coded, then you gotta kind of believe in the numbers.
Yes.
I've never actually talked about each number individually, like the obviously just what each number means. Do you mind going through like 1 through 9 and explaining kind of briefly what each number means?
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to just make it clear, like, I'm not directly affiliated with GG33 anymore.
Oh, that's right.
I used to be. But the reason why is, we'll probably get into it, but it is what it is. So the 1 through 9, let's go through that. Okay. 1 is obviously a leader, very, very male energy oriented, very masculine, aggressive energy. 2 is peacemaker. I mentioned a little bit of that earlier. Feminine energy, sensitive. Obviously, you know, you can't really be too rough with most women, so they embody that 2 energy. And 3 energy.
And to stop you at the 2 one, why isn't it possible? And I don't know if you can answer this, but why isn't it possible to be a 2 life path?
Let me think about if I can answer that. Let me not answer that. That's more so, yeah. Okay. So the three energy is childlike energy. Obviously, I'm born on the 12th. 1 and 2 equals 3. So I embody some of that 3 energy. That makes sense. Yeah. So it's like talkative, comedians, things like that. The 4 energy is number of the builder, number of discipline. So you'll see like people who were born on the 4th, they like to contort themselves to like Law and Order, things like that. 5 energy, number of sex, number of travel. So you'll see like a lot of good-looking girls being born on the 5th or being 5 life paths overall. They love their sex. Like it drives them nuts.
We're gonna get into the sex, bro, for sure. For sure gonna get into it.
6 energy. 6 energy, a number of home and family. Very homebody oriented people. Like when you talk to these people, they're all about their families. They're all about their, they're building their families. They want to just settle down. And 7 energy, number of very smart people. Loner. You'll see, obviously, it's a very widely known thing that people who are smart like to be alone. So that's how that connection starts to build. Number 8, number of power, money, karma. People who are born under 8 energy, they love their fucking power. Love their power. Like that's their biggest thing. You'll notice, like even in 8 years, you'll get really, really power hungry. And 9, number of the adaptive person. Obviously, I'm a 9 life path. So these people, they're very adaptive. They can go with the flow. Yeah.
Yeah, I never had anyone break down each number like that individually on the show. So just for the listeners, like there you go. You guys ask me what do they mean? That's a very simple surface level of the energy.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you come across the GG33 camp. Obviously, you're not part of the camp anymore. And it's funny because I was gonna ask you about that, but you did answer that this morning on Twitter.
Yeah. You want me to go into that a little bit?
I guess what I want you to speak on is how would you, or I don't even know, because I'm gonna use myself for an example. I wanted to be part of this community, right?
Yeah.
But based off what I've been seeing the last, I've seen a few beefs already since I've been following, and but then to hear you the way you talk, it's just like okay, confirmation to where you don't need that shit. We don't need to be a part of that. And I feel like we get blindsided, and I don't know. So,
yeah.
Do you like if someone came to you be like, "Yo, bro, I'm trying to be part, trying to sign up for classes"? Do you say do it, or do you say you don't need to?
Yeah. I get where you're going.
Yeah.
So let me put it this way. I would say do it.
Okay.
But you have to approach it like this. Like I was saying on Twitter, the 99% of people are straight up losers. You got to expect that with anything that you enter. So like if you're working a job, you got to expect that there's going to be people who are not focused on progress, advancement, whatever. They're not focused on getting ahead. They have no real vision inside their head. Same goes with any group that you enter. It doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter who you come across. There's always going to be people who are going to be on some BS, no matter where you go. And this applies to Gary's group as well. Now, the knowledge, that's not to knock on the knowledge. That's not to knock on a man. The man has developed incredible knowledge. Like, this stuff can change your life. But you got to put in the work to make it change your life. It's like people need to be more realistic about how they approach these things. And like you can't be going into this group expecting your life to completely change unless you're going to do the work, unless you stay your mind and your vision towards what you really want. Like, let's say you're joining him because you want to be a part of a group of enlightened souls. I mean, there's some cases where that may be true because, like I said, there's still that group of winners there. But the majority of people are not going to be that way. It's just the way it is. So when it comes down to it, yes, for the knowledge, but you still got to retain the focus. You still got to keep your brain, your wits about you. You still got to approach it from a smart standpoint. Can't just come into it expecting everything to be roses, because just like anywhere else, just like if you're joining any other group in the world, I've ran multiple groups myself. You obviously run a community yourself. So you know that there's majority of people who are followers who get mixed up in BS. Some people are leaders. It's just the way life works.
So you felt like you elevated past the group to where you needed to branch out.
I mean, it's not so much that I elevated past the group. It's more so like I'm a person who wants more power. I want more influence. But at the same time, I want to positively impact. Like, I don't want to be a negative influence on things. So my affiliation with the group, it's a long storyline, but from the very get-go, of my affiliation with the group, there was always a negative stigma associated with me. Like from the very first get-go. People might not remember this, but I was accused of copying one of the biggest guys when I wasn't. There was like a 6-month, like low-key, like shadow beef between me and select people inside the group. Nobody knows this, but this shadow beef painted a negative influence on my entire image to a lot of people, which propelled me into like, if I said anything to certain people, if I said anything to certain people, it came down to that shadow influence subconsciously affecting the way that people associated me inside their mind. So I kind of had that negative stigma associated to me. And I never really got out of like building out of it. And I'm a very aggressive person. Yeah. So I just go for the truth. I just go off of what I feel. I go off of my passions.
I respect
even during times when I shouldn't.
Right.
It's not the wisest decision. So when it came down to it, I would say the harsh truths that people needed to hear to get ahead. But if I didn't have that negative stigma, it probably would have went differently. But I didn't notice how much that influenced people. So to bring this story full circle, after all the events, all the controversies that I've been through, for me, standing on my truth, standing on where I feel my integrity is at, not submitting to what anyone thinks about me, and trying to set the record straight. When it came down to it, my influence was no longer exactly positive, and I started to notice that on the inside. On the inside, and that's a key point. On the inside. So I decided to publicly disassociate myself from it. Now, obviously, people understand the way that relationships work. Just because you publicly exit a group doesn't mean that all the relationships are suddenly going to die out.
Right.
So I still have relationships with some people inside the group. So the point is, I position myself to where I can positively influence no matter what. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to be like building on this negative energy.
And have you felt that positive influence since you've left the group on people around you more than when you were in there?
Absolutely. Oh, okay. Absolutely. Like, the way that I move on Twitter, it seems impulsive. It seems like crazy, just like,
it's a strategy too.
Strong, like really, really strong, crazy, impactful energy. There's a strategy behind everything that I do. There's calculations behind everything that I do that people are not. At the end of the day, one of the many things that I say that I am, and I've built the skill over a number of years, is a marketer. I know how people's minds work. I know how to impact people. That's why, with my small following, there's engaged. They respect what I say because I know how to build influence over people. So at the end of the day, everything that I do has calculations to it.
Yeah. I could tell that, bro. Even just when you say you're gonna announce something on the 26th, and it's a double 8 day, and so yeah, today, it's a double 11 day. It kind of makes sense why you dropped those videos this morning.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I definitely see the calculations, and that's why I appreciate it. That's why I had to have you on here, because I know you offer services too, whether it be sex work, I believe, or not sex work. Yeah. I said that wrong, huh?
We'll clarify that
later. Yeah, that sounded so bad. My bad. No,
it's all good.
There's no sex work involved. Sexual energy courses. Is that a good way to say it?
Yeah, everything in life is a skill. So
I want to know your ways, bro. I need to pull bitches, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I'll give you some tips. So everything in life is a skill, right? Even just the skill of talking, like the skill of holding a certain tonality to contribute to an influencing vibration over somebody. That's a skill. So when it comes down to sexual events, sexual circumstances, navigating those things can be like strategized. It can be more so of a skill-based thing. And when you get really good at it, you get good results.
Yeah. Cause I ain't gonna lie, Robbie seen you tweet, and I'm just like, bro, man, I know, bro, be pulling, girl.
Yeah,
Nah, but
Yeah.
not even to say that like to like, oh, I'm gonna go sign up for this because I need to do. Nah, it's all jokes. I'm just joking. But
Yeah.
you need. I feel like your courses are for relationships that are struggling, men that are trying to reconnect with their women.
Yes.
So I appreciate that. I think we all people need that. Like, people give up so easily on relationships, and I love the way you speak on valuing also your woman and your queen. And people don't take that from your account. I feel like everyone takes the negative, the way you say shit, but you're saying some shit in there. So that's why I need to talk to you. I need to talk to this person. I was kind of even hesitant to reach out just because the way you do talk, but I was like, nah, I'm just gonna take my shot, man. Fuck it. The worst you can say is no.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so, can you speak to that? Like, just getting help in those areas as men.
Yes, absolutely. So, one thing, obviously, you touched on it very well. Relationships are really struggling in society.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes down to it, relationships is the foundation to families, and families are the foundation to countries, cultures, traditions. People need to understand that traditions are extremely important. Families are like one of the most important things to the backbone of a country. If you don't have families, if you don't have strong bloodlines, you don't have a country. This is why you see so many men who are basically incapable of having discipline, incapable of having the energy that they need to carry to bring to certain situations, to influence what they need to do, to build wealth for themselves, to build power in their communities, to take back the power from governments, outside influences, etc., etc., etc. All these woke things that we like to talk about. So I decided, I don't want to just be a woke person just saying that the elite is fucking us over, or excuse me, whatever. The elite are messing with us. I want to be a person who actually positively influences in a way to where where men can build foundations that will go forward in generations, even if it's in a small way, even if I can affect, just 50 men to have a strong vision towards what they bring to their family, to their woman. If I can do that, the network effects of that, those 50 men have 3 children, 2 sons, 2 daughters, whatever it may be, whatever the division may be. Those people carry that vibration now. They carry that influence that I implanted inside these men. That can powerfully change communities in a huge way. And when it comes down to it, to touch on the courses and whatnot, it is for people who struggle with relationships, but it's also for men who want to take more, who want to get more out of their relationships. Who don't want to just go out there and just look for another woman, who want to build something powerful connection between them and their woman. I mean, I'm interested in that. I don't want to, as many women as I've talked to, I don't really go around and hoe around like that, but I do talk to a lot of women. I do, as you say, pull. But there's only certain women that I'm interested in it, because I can see, I want to implant that, like, the ability to perceive what potential is there, because sometimes it doesn't even come down to the men themselves. Sometimes it comes down to the partner that they pick. They're not able to handle that type of connection. So it's a number of different things that I tried to instill in all these guys. And we've had great results.
Yeah, you post your testimonies, so I mean, people are saying, they like what you have to offer. It was funny because the reason I really did reach out to you, bro, is because someone replied to one of my tweets and was like, you need to take your course. They told me I need to take your course. And
I did see that.
Yeah, so I was just like, and I was like, weird. And I tweeted you. I was like, he needs to come on Conspiracy and talk about it. And then I deleted the tweet because I was like, nah, I'll slide in the DMs later and ask him properly, because I don't like giving glimpses of my guests on my show. So I'm like, I'll do it privately. But that's really why I reached out. But why the tweet that I had said was, how do I unlock the memories of my past lives, asking for a friend. And then he replied back, you need to take, ML0338's course. Why do you think he said that?
So what he was referring to was the energy enhancement manual that I offer. So in regards to that, what I mean by that is, or what he probably meant by that is, when it comes down to unlocking like something like that, and it's not like something that I would say that's a potential to unlock, but what he's saying is, from that book that he purchased and he's been utilizing, he's been getting effects to where his energy becomes more resilient, more capable of holding a certain vibration, which is what you would probably need to do to get into something like that. So it just comes down to being able to hold a stronger energy state
Right.
to propel yourself forward. And that's like one of the key points of the energy enhancement manual.
So you offer that as well on top of, how many courses do you offer? Or groups do you have?
So I mean, I've been pretty prolific just because of all the things I've been doing in my life. And I mean, I don't want to make this like something where I'm just being a marketer. I want to like contribute more value. But the courses I offer is a weaponized psychology system. That was like one of my first things, and then an energy enhancement manual. So let me think. I offer, I think, like 4 or 5. Yeah. I can't think of them all off the top of my head. So
me, you know, I'm a single male.
Yeah.
If I was, you know, I feel like I don't know, bro. I don't know if I'm not attracting it yet, or I just don't know. But I do have a high standard now, and the more I learn things, the more my standard keeps going up. And I don't feel like there's any women around me that, you know, catch my attention at all. Besides, you know, besides their flesh, besides lustfully, right? You know, to be honest, that I'm just keeping it honest because can your courses, or can you, you know, do you offer stuff for, like, you know, single men to try to attract and certain women?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, when it comes down to attraction, it's about the vibration that you carry. So have you ever, let me paint this picture inside your head. Have you ever noticed that there is like a difference when one guy says something versus another guy says something to that same woman? They might say the same exact thing, same exact tonality, same exact pacing, same exact cadence. But when that other guy says it, something about the way that he says it just hits her way harder.
Yeah.
And she gets way more affected. Now, what that is the vibrational aspect of his energy. So that comes down to the way that he's able to build his energy to be stronger. And he might not even be conscious about it, because, you know, 99.999% of people are just not conscious of energy to that level. But when you get conscious of it, bro, it's like playing chess against like I'm not sure if you're aware of like ELO, the ELO skill rating. It's like playing chess against like a really low like novice, because nobody knows what you're doing. You know, people have a subconscious understanding of what you're doing, but it's like playing on God mode on games.
Do you get bored easy with the females then?
I mean, absolutely. That's
damn.
Because it's like when I'm able to like pull one in really strongly, it's just like I'm just like playing with their head. and usually I mean, I don't mean to sound like a very manipulative person, but when it comes down to, being aware of the energy and how it works and the vibrational aspect of it, it is pure manipulation at the end of the day.
You just have to manipulate them in a positive way, correct?
I mean, in a positive way, yes, but I can't say that there's not going to be like people who use it negatively, especially when you're like developing the skill. There's gonna obviously be negative manipulation. I'm just being straight up and honest.
I'm looking at your Twitter right now. You have this tweet, and it says, "When you're looking to heal energy or make it more resilient, stronger, vibrant, you better be looking strong and solid." I feel like that still applies to what you just said right now, where you just have to. It
absolutely does.
Yeah.
And you know what I was touching on there is a lot of people, a lot of people across Twitter, a lot of people across YouTube. Like, if you start looking at these people who are like saying like, "Oh, like I'm a healer, etc., etc., like I can do this like long distance healing for you." You know, they don't look like they're very vibrant. So, like, what's going on there? If you're supposed to be a healer, aren't you supposed to be looking top notch yourself? Like, why is the stuff that you're doing not working for you?
Wow.
And you're trying to say that you're gonna heal me? I don't see how that makes sense there.
It doesn't. It doesn't. I had someone that, I had someone close. I've said the story many times. I'm not going to say the story, but I've had someone close to me that was pursuing the shamanism healer road, and bro was using psychedelics to, heal him, and then bro ended up having a whole ass exorcism in my house, dog. That shit was not tight. And I'm like, this guy's really healing people? What the oh yeah, nah.
Yeah, I don't know about that, man. Like, I stay away from all that stuff. Like,
Me too, bro.
I don't use psychedelics. I've never I lied. I've used weed like 2 times, But for the most part, when it comes down to inducing like certain states, because obviously inducing certain states are very beneficial for manifestation purposes. I'm not sure if you've ever talked about that, but it's very useful for getting like what you want out of this world. Like obviously, Gary's touched upon it a little bit, but
Right.
When you want to manifest, you go in your dreams, and that's a great way to manifest, and that's obviously an altered state of consciousness.
Yeah, I gotta stop smoking, bro. I can't remember my dreams.
Yeah, that's
It's
no
okay,
good, man.
So let me ask you this. What's your thoughts on like people that do smoke weed? It's like not even like psychedelics, just weed and shit like that. Does it really fuck up your energy and vibration like that? Like, does it keep you from? Is there a ceiling on you?
Yeah, yeah. Great question. So, I will put it like this. Quality is extremely important. Like when it comes to ingestion of anything, there's good foods and there's bad foods. For the most part, like when I smoked weed, I don't know like what it was about the weed, but I felt like I was like I was taking off a lot of like heaviness off of my body. Like I felt like my chakras opened up like a lot more. And that was a while back. But I never did it again. But I don't know if it was the quality of the weed or like just because it was my first time or whatever it may be. But it's really important about the quality of anything that you'll say or anything that you'll ingest inside your body. And I will leave it at that just because I don't have like much experience with it. So I'm not gonna talk extensively on it like I'm an expert.
Right.
I'll preface everything that I say that I don't have like the specific experience with it, but I will say this. Gary, who's like one of the brightest people that I know, he smokes weed like nearly every day. So
I want to ask something, because I want to talk about being psychic, right? What's this whole myth about being fat and being more psychic, or is it a myth?
I don't know if it's a myth or not because obviously I'm not fat.
Right? Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
I work out, and when I don't work out, I'm still ripped. Like I still have a six pack. I like to say this. Like I've had a six pack ever since I was 11 years old. And it might be something about the 11 vibration.
Okay.
But when it comes down to I've heard things about it, but they say that it's associated to the higher concentration of water inside your body. But I don't know how much truth that holds because it's adipose tissue. It's fat.
Yeah.
So. Maybe it's because the larger weight allots you more water, but I don't know how that works. I have plenty of psychic ability myself, so I don't know.
I was dying when you said, "Oh, you want me to get fat so I can be more psychic?"
Yeah, I mean, I like to tell jokes on Twitter.
I know. That's why, because I read it with sarcasm, so I know you're joking, but I can see like I know kind of where it's coming from. I know where it's coming from. Yeah, there
may be some truth to it. I mean, I probably would. I mean, I like to tell jokes. I like to be sarcastic. Obviously, I'm a Capricorn. We have a very dry humor, but at the same time, if I say anything, I like to experiment before I actually like hold a really strong opinion about it. I like to heavily test it out. And this is like with all the things, like even before I joined GD33, obviously I said that I tested Gary out for like a year,
right,
just to see how the way that he thinks, and if it's like in line with somebody who figures things out. So that's very, very important to me, like the experimentation aspect, the actual conclusiveness to the solidity of what it is.
I think you had a tweet like that where you basically said you're not like, I think you were referring to like pics, right? Where you're saying because you copy and paste someone's pics doesn't make you're still a follower. You're a pawn, and it's not your own. And I'm not trying to talk about the situation, but I'm saying like just the message behind it. Where I think a lot of times like we don't apply it because we just believe the source and the messenger, and we think it's all right. But in your case, you were applying it, you were experimenting with it, you were seeing for yourself like, okay, no, he onto something. He kind of get it.
Yes, and
so that's important.
Absolutely. Like to me, it's extremely like if you're gonna. I mean, let's just be straight up here. If you're going to be spending thousands of dollars of your hard-earned cash, why would you just spend it impulsively without testing the man first? Like what? Like you gotta see some sort of like really consistent results before you pull the trigger on a decision like that. I mean, let me put it this way: like, are you going to like spend like a few $1,000s on a down payment on a car and you lock yourself in on that monthly payment without ever seeing the car, without ever touching it. Doesn't make sense, does it?
No.
So to me, I just think it's common sense.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. I think it all depends on I think we look for people to help us with things, and I think we can figure out everything ourselves if we really just applied to anything, really. It's like, Gary could be the spark to it. Like, someone can be the spark to whatever you're into, whatever you're going to go down into. But eventually, at one point, you do have to take the wheel yourself and go and do it yourself. You could be just as powerful. Like, not one man can just have all that power, bro. There's many people. Like, we're all gods in a way. We just have to unlock that ability. And I feel like
absolutely
that's why I feel like what you did, rebranding, you started stepping into your own God and your own light, where it's like, I'm not gonna shadow somebody. And I'm not saying that in a negative way, but you were just like, I know what I'm capable of, and I know what I can do, and I know what I can figure it out, and I'm very confident in my mind and my ability. So deuces, I'm out. Thank you, but I'm gonna go help other people too. And I think that's beautiful, bro. That's why I respect it, and I respect it. And the way you make it look, the way you talk about it, the way you tweet about it, like, it's for people like me. I pick up the message. I don't care about, bro, I was dying when you replied back to that chick. It was like, when she said about your Saturn conjunction or something, you said my big... And you said, watch out how you talk to people like that. And I never thought about it, but it's like, yeah, how dare you really come in my mentions, talk about my Saturn and this. Like, yo, that's some deep shit.
Yeah, I mean... Like the main purpose of, and I want to touch on what you said in regards to, like, kind of like the F off type of nature, and it's not exactly like a F off type of nature. Like, I respect the community of GD3D. I really respect, like, the minds, like, some of the content that some of these people drop are, like, very, very, like, highly inspirational, and in the aspect of, like, they advance your vibration a lot. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to take anything away from them, but at the same time, you're 100% correct in regards to, like, people need to regain the confidence, because, I mean, let me put it like this, man. Imagine you're talking to a girl and you're texting her. Like, are you going to be going back and forth with one of your bros about saying, like, man, what should I say to this girl? Like, like, are you going to be, like, basically having him think for you the entire time? It just doesn't work like that. No. You can't build a family off of that. There's some point in time where you got to regain confidence to do things yourself. Even if it comes down to you constantly failing and messing up with women, you still got to do it yourself. You still got to build your own mind to lead yourself in these situations. Because as men in this country and on this planet, we need leadership. We need more leaders out here. We don't need more followers. We need more people who think for themselves. That's what makes strong countries. That's what makes strong cultures. Men who think for themselves and lead families and build families. Not this whole follower thing. Like, people need to get out of that mentality and think for themselves, build their own minds, build their own approaches. Don't be scared of failure. Don't be scared to mess up. Be an individual. And that's why, like, I joke about it, but the underlying vibration that I want to accelerate out there is think for yourself. Don't just be a follower. And what was the question that you said again? I'm sorry, I got carried away with that.
I don't remember. I don't remember, bro. I gotta stop smoking weed.
Yeah, I guess we'll just move on then.
I actually wanted to read off some of your tweets, and maybe you can expand on them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let me see. You had some. I love the way you tweet too, man. Like, it just your grammar's there. You're not, it's not no slang. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, I remember now. You were talking about the astrology aspect tweet that I said.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So in regards to that, I mean, it was what you were touched upon in the very beginning of this. Like, people who use astrology and stuff just for relationships and things like that. I mean, it applies to pretty much everything in your life, and it extends even further than just astrology. Like, astrology is the back end framework to how energy and vibration actually affects reality. Like an opposition, a conjunction, those are like things that even exist within speech, within vocal vibration aspects. When people, like, let's say, like, you you say something and then someone says like an oppositionary energy to what you said. Like now those two energies are in conjunction, are in opposition to each other. Like what's going to overcome each other? And that's like one of the primary things that people miss about vibrational energy. Like there's so much more application to it. And it's like you said in the very beginning, people get carried away with like just like using it as relatability content. You know, you go on Instagram and you see these large astrology pages talking about these basic ass like programmings that run through society that people just people talk about and use to like relate, like, oh my god, you know, this explains my behavior so much because my moon is in Scorpio, you know, like BS like that. Like, let's get off of that. Like, break the programming.
Yo, Mike, if someone scrolled down your Twitter, I mean, especially women, have they called you, have they given you the label toxic masculinity?
I mean, I'm sure many of them think it, but they won't say it.
That's funny because I'll be reading it, man. It should just be. I mean, like you have the good ones too. Don't get me wrong, but I love your sarcastic ones like this one. Like the most fun you can ever have is making a young girl think she's a beast at tarot.
Yeah. That one was a little bit of a current controversial one, wasn't it?
That's what I'm saying. Like women would read that and they'd be like, "Man, fuck you!" Like you. That's why I say it's funny because women, yeah, women are funny.
They definitely are.
I wanted to touch on your dark truth rant, dark truth. What is it? Dark truth time, because I really like. I don't know if we talked about this earlier. I don't think we touched on it, but I really liked how you said that if you have information that you're not really applying or using, and you're just really hoarding it, like you know what, like it has no value to it. You're wasting your time.
It's trivia.
There you go. Can you touch on that?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, it was one of the disconnecting things that came up with me and some people inside of GG33. As I once said again, some people are just not interested in really developing, like actually developing. They're more interested in making themselves feel good, making themselves feel like they figured something out because it sounds cool, you know, because it sounds like beautiful. And that just doesn't work in the real world. A lot of people tweet just straight up garbage, and a lot of people engage with it just because it sounds cool, sounds good, sounds great, and at the end of the day, it does nothing for your life. So why even engage with it? Why propel this? It does nothing for your life. It's just filling up your brain full of garbage. And that was what that dark truth rant was about. Like a lot of people, you know, there's select people who I don't know if I want to say their name or not. No, I know. Maybe I will.
I know who you're talking about, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah. But I'm not. I don't care about that. Like I said, I take the message because I felt like because it hit me. You know, I felt attacked too because it's like, and I've been feeling that for a while. Where it's like, okay, I know about astrology, I know whatever, a little bit of numerology, I know about these things, but I'm not really applying it to the best of my ability. So why even go down? Why care about it then? Why am I learning about this if I'm not utilizing it? So that's why I brought it up because I felt attacked. I'm like, oh shit, like, and I don't get offended or anything like that. It makes me think about it like, man, that's kind of me. Like he right. Like if I don't need this, why is it in my brain? Why am I holding this information?
Yeah, and it even comes down to like, you know, there was the whole QAnon on a thing, and there was a whole woke stuff that goes around on Twitter. Like people need to, you know, all this information is great, but if we're not doing anything about it, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, you're just sitting there letting life happen to you. Like imagine if somebody was telling you all this stuff about your woman and you're just sitting there like all this bad stuff, you know, she needs to be checked in a certain way, and you're just like hearing it and you're just like do nothing about it. It's like it doesn't make any sense. You need to do something about it. You need to check these people, and that type of mentality is really missing in our culture because people just like to stand around and wait for things to happen to them. People just like to stand around and wait for the leader to activate them to make them do something. And it's really, I mean, it really needs to be like shut down. It really needs to be spoken against, and people need to be activated.
That was another psyop I fell for too before I, you know, really stepped into my awakening more so last year. I bought I thought I didn't buy like the whole Q psyop, but I did buy that these people were gonna be taken down, arrested, and all that shit. But when I snapped out of that, bro, when I realized, oh, it's just to keep us thinking something's gonna happen and then nothing's really gonna happen, is when I fully I tapped out. And and I feel like someone like you're creating the world that you, I guess, want to, you're worried about your world, your own personal world, but that's going to ripple into the greater collective world. And that's why I appreciate that you've taken this, you've taken it to your own matters to do good in this world and try to help other people. And, especially men, bro, because I keep saying this, I keep stressing this, that we got to make spirituality and energy and all this shit popular amongst men, the regular average men.
Absolutely.
Man, yeah.
I mean, absolutely, because the benefits to everything, just from an awareness standpoint, from like knowing to not just sleep with any random woman and checking her energy, that small, slight, tiny piece of awareness would do so much good for society. It is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, yeah, when it comes down to it, making it cool, as you say, is really important, and I think it'll come. It just needs to be built, as you were saying.
You have this tweet right here that says, the best part about building a strong mind is the ability to correct energy issues. People have so much potential with a strong mind, aiding them. For instance, girl with great body lacking a strong energy face equals not meeting potential. The facial energy matrix is easy to fix. If you have a powerful mind, the mind above all is the most powerful tool in the matrix, but the least realized power.
Yes.
Facts, bro. Facts.
Yeah. And I mean, what I'm touching on there is people need to realize that the mind is so much more of a tool to affect this reality than people actually give it, notions for or power for, whatever you want to say.
And that's why I read the tweet, because you're talking about like the men, controlling themselves, and it's all about the mind, like mind over flesh. And I think we're still controlled, and I'm guilty to it too. I still lust, I still have a lot of work to do myself. But as human beings, it's we gotta control ourselves too, bro. You can't just be fucking everything. It's just that ain't the wave either. Like just spreading your energy amongst all these
lose
different.
Your power.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
you lose your power a lot. And yeah, I mean, people need to understand that the way you were touching on, you want to get women, and when it comes down to getting women, the first thing is to build a strong mind to be able to realize those things. Like a lot of us are born with ineffective energy, and that's why a lot of dudes aren't able to pull women naturally. And there's those select few dudes that are able to pull women naturally and easily because they're born with that potent ass energy. And because of course, because of their bloodlines, in some cases because of their birthdays, but primarily because of their bloodlines that they were built strongly. Maybe by happenstance, maybe by design, who knows? It doesn't really matter. But when it comes down to those men who want to get stronger families or want to pull stronger, it really comes down to the way that their mind is assembled. Because the mind is the primary tool that we have to affect vibrational energy around us. So it's very, very important, when you really visualize something, when you really visualize like a set of words before you say them, you'll notice that those words will have significantly more power versus if you just say them willy-nilly, unless there's like a strong vibration present that accelerates the word energy there. But that component, that small component, that's really important for basically everything. When it comes down to pretty much anything. Even if it's like an innovative thing inside of some industry, somebody wants to create something innovative, somebody wants to create something different. They have to assemble their mind to be able to contort that vibrational energy correctly.
And then that would lead to manifestation, correct?
Absolutely. I mean, that's basically what that entire spiel was about. Manifestation. Yeah. Because manifestation is about contorting the vibrational energy to work into assembled way that affects reality.
So manifestation basically is manipulating energy.
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
And just a basic way for people to understand that, if you ever like, let's say you ever like had like a feeling like something was gonna happen like later on because you did something prior. Like let's say you had like some sort of like strange chance encounter with somebody,
right?
And you had like a small feeling that chance encounter made you have like more momentum towards a certain situation happening later on. Like that's manifestation. Those events are like the contorting of the energy to align stronger. It's just like in astrology. You know, in astrology you have conjunctions. Conjunctions are the alignment of planets. The alignment of planets makes the energy significantly stronger.
Okay.
You know, like me, like I'm a Capricorn, but here's a small fact about me. My energy hits harder than most Capricorns because I have 6 planets in Capricorn.
Oh,
and that means that I have 6 planets that are conjuncting all together in Capricornian energy. So I'm a much more potent Capricorn than the average Capricorn will be because of that focus of energy.
Yeah.
So that's why when it comes out to my vibe, I'm going to be even more intense than most people will be, just because of that conjunction of energy. And that's what it basically comes down to: the alignment of energy, or as I said before, the assembling of vibrational energy to affect the world, to manifest.
So basically, the people that run this whole realm, right, bro? They just know how to manipulate and harvest energy to the highest of levels, correct?
I mean, it's a very debatable subject.
Okay.
Because let me put it this way: you're talking about the elites, basically, and the elites being connected with certain deities, or what we call deities, gods. These very, very powerful entities that hold significant power over the realm. But if they knew everything that they needed to know, then why did it take them so long to control the world? So these are these questions that we need to ask. So maybe they don't know everything. Maybe they're just learning as much as we are. Obviously they have a significant, much more information to work with. But when it comes down to it, you still need to build your mind. You still need to assemble the proper networks.
Right. Yeah.
Because I mean, even if let's put it this way. You know, in chemistry, you make a compound by aligning the energy appropriately. So those type of things still need to happen. It doesn't matter like how much power these people hold. If the energy's not there, it's just not going to happen. You know, like the rebellion or whatever you want to call it, but the protest on January 6th happened because the energy wasn't fully there for them to take control. So obviously they might have made a few mistakes, or maybe it was engineered. Who knows? But I mean, you could probably figure it out with much more study.
Right.
But when it comes down to it, the question that we need to all ask, and this is mainly just to spark more interest, to get more thought processes going about it. This isn't me providing an answer because, to be honest with you, I don't really study the elite that much anymore.
Okay. Yeah. But
I'm
over it too.
Yeah, I'm more so focused on application. But that's a major question that we need to ask. Why don't they have full power anymore? Why are we in 1984 right now? Why are we saying like what was those 3 words in 1984? Stupidity is strength, or whatever. Ignorance is strength. Unity is, or whatever. War is peace.
Right.
Those type of words. Like why are we not all fucking fully programmed into that? You know.
Interesting. Yeah, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Do you feel like if because you feel like they use astrology and numerology and all the tools, correct?
Absolutely. I mean,
but do you but do you feel like if us the regular people, right, the majority of us, if we have that same information, like that they have, you think it would make it a even playing field, or it still wouldn't matter? As far as if we knew about energy work, if we knew about certain applications, like to that extent, you think it would make the playing field even, or you still think we stand no chance against these people?
That's a great question. I think that it would even the playing field a little bit, but at the end of the day, we can give people some of the world's greatest knowledge. We can give people some of the most potent weapons. But if they don't have the skill to use it, if they don't have the mind to use it, that is just not going to happen.
Yeah,
I mean,
mind.
At the end of the day, followers will still be followers and leaders will still be leaders. There's some people who will just go after it no matter what. And I honestly, I believe that the knowledge, all you really need is a really, really strong ambition to really learn this stuff. And a mind that's constantly critical about everything, like constantly like testing everything out. And I think you can come into a reasonable amount of power that can really make a really strong case for the world. But there's also the component of this. There's also the component that some people are born with much stronger energies than other people are. You know,
Okay.
let's say there's somebody who's born on the 22nd. They're gonna have a harder hitting energy. You know, somebody who's born on the 22nd, a Scorpio, who has like a lot of conjuncted planets, and you know, like maybe they have like 5 planets in alignment in Scorpio.
Mhm.
Like someone who's like has like a really hard hitting energy, and they're born
Right.
on 11/22, which is, you know, one of the strongest birthdays out there, because, you know, 11/22/33.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Really strong birthday. So that person is going to have significantly more power than someone who's born, let's say, you know, let's say they're born like 10/4 or something like that. You know, they're going to have a harder hitting energy. So
Yeah.
it's a number of variables, basically. But and to answer your question in short, I think that it would tilt the odds in the favor of people who want to seize more control. But
Mm.
even in the general psychology,
Mm-hmm.
like some people just might not want to work with each other.
Yeah.
You know, it's a huge number of variables.
Man. You have this tweet right here about magic where you say, more you go up the ranks of magical ability and the intonation of things vibrationally, more you are able to edit the world around you like a dream. Now, we were talking about the mind, right? So
Yes.
I believe mind is God, right? I think the mind is the God in us or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the times, do you think it's just placebo effect? Like what we want to believe and put our belief into, whether it be a positive intention or not, it becomes that reality. Or do you think,
Yes,
like numbers
yes
are
and no?
okay?
That's where influence comes from.
Can I give you an example? Say for example, it's a 7-day, and I was like, I'm gonna still go work out. Fuck it, I don't care. I know I'm not supposed to, but I'm gonna still do it. Does my power of like that placebo effect of me telling myself like I'm good, like I don't need that, or should I listen to the day and the vibration of the whatever, you know? Do you understand?
Yeah. So I mean, with like 7 energy, the way that really works is the 7 energy has like a more of like a completion aspect, and it has more of like a separating, like a dissolution type of vibration to it, like a dissolution type of influence to it. That's why, you know, your body will break down a lot under 7 energy. You'll get a lot of injuries, but there's ways to overcome that. You know, like I said,
You can reverse engineer it.
Everything in this realm is editable, but you need that level of awareness, and also you need that level of potency to be able to do that. And I mean, there's only so much that you can go against the energy. It's like swimming against the ocean currents. So yes, there is a degree of placebo effect, but it's only if your level of influence is not capable of overcoming. Now, if your level of influence is capable of it, i.e. your level of potency, your level of power, your level of ability to edit vibrations, then that's the point where your placebo effect might actually have a reasonable degree of capability of changing this reality.
Understand. Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Damn, bro, you got a powerful mind.
Thank you.
Right here you have a tweet. I want to know, what does this mean? He said, "Nose is an energy trapping weak point for Rooster energy." Please explain that.
Yeah. So, every sign has their energy points. Every sign has their energy like weaknesses, their energy strengths. So what I've noticed is the beak, you know, the nose for the Rooster is one of the weaker points. It's one of the points where energy like kind of like traps up. Even for me personally, you know, I have a very, very high concentration of Rooster energy inside of me. So when it comes down to the examples of what will happen to Rooster energy in certain circumstances, I'm a great example of it, just because of the high amount of concentration that I have. So I've noticed that, you know, when it comes down to me, I don't have allergies. I don't have issues with anything like that. But I'll get like issues with my nose just randomly, just in certain situations. And there's a certain part of Rooster energy that is like a what is it called? Like a matrix defense mechanism. But that's reserved for GG33 knowledge. That relates to it, but in other cases, this defense mechanism might even extend further out than I thought.
Then you have this other one that this other tweet says the facial energy is a major indication of aura state.
Yes.
So
yeah, like your aura, I mean, it has a slower manifestation to it, but your aura is basically like your barrier to like certain vibrations. So like when you have a higher vibration, you can only accept certain vibrations, but you can put out like very, very strong vibrations to affect people in a very potent way. But when it comes down to it, your aura, your ability to defend yourself against certain vibrations, like negative vibrations, like let's say someone is very resentful towards you, that's obviously a very lower ended vibration. It can disintegrate certain parts of you. So when it comes down to having a strong, vibrant face, that's a contributing factor to as related to your aura, the strength of your shield. So that's what that tweet's about. Man, we're getting into some deep stuff.
Bro, I like this one right here where you said, you replied to someone, you quote tweeted someone, but you said, learn about visualizing. Panic attacks and anxiety are associated to energy inside of you that is broken in circuitry? Think of electricity.
Oh, yeah, broken circuitry.
Yes, and think of electricity, and when there is a short circuit, things don't work correctly.
Yes.
Human body works the same way, but you can fix it with the mind. Again, mind.
Yes, it all relates back to that. So, like, think about it like this, like an electrician going into the circuitry and the wiring of a house. If you have, like, short circuits inside the house, obviously there's a lot of issues that are going to happen. When you plug something in, it's going to break a circuit, and all of a sudden that circuit might cause something to malfunction inside the house. This is the same case that goes on in regards to human energy. Human energy has, obviously the nervous system is very electrical based. It's a very like a chemically based system. But when it comes down to it, we can simplify all that stuff and we can just go straight to like the bare components of it. So like when you don't have proper energy that's circulating correctly, that's when you run into issues like anxiety. That's when you run into issues like nervousness, because you're not able to take in that energy and circulate it properly within your aura, within your system, whatever it may be. That's really, really important to because anxiety, all that is just a short circuiting system inside of you.
Wow.
Yeah.
That makes sense though.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I've been like, getting hip to the nervous system and how it really plays a big part, obviously, but I'm really gonna get into it, and it's just crazy how we really are just we're all just light beings, bro. It's just electricity.
Yeah.
Going back to the relationships, kind of, I like this tweet right here. You say, the deeper you go with love, the more you are put in position to face yourself and your fears. The deeper you love and exist within strong passions with your partner, the more you must walk through the caverns of your soul and mind and make what's broken work.
Yes. So that is, I mean, it plays off of what we just talked about with even the electricity thing. Because when it comes down to it, when you share that strong passion, that strong love with somebody, you're taking in a lot of energy. You're sharing a lot of energy with that person. So that forces you to go within your mind to work out all the kinks, to work out all the issues within your own personal energy, to be able to accept and also offer that stronger connectivity.
Yeah. Because
when it comes to relationships, sex, anything like that, it's down to the connection. If you're not able, like, let me put it like this: when you plug something into the wall and you want it to take a large amount of current from whatever power source, it needs to have like zero blockages. It needs to be really strong, resilient. It needs to have like a lot of systems in place to be able to accept that energy and negotiate that high level of energy exchange appropriately, strongly, resiliently. So that's why it is important for people to really work their minds out. And I even have like that pinned tweet there that says pain in relationships is important to negotiate, because those pains are those inefficient parts of yourself that are unable to take energy in. So you need to work those out, because I mean, everybody wants a strong relationship. Who doesn't want to share an immense level of passion with their partner? I mean, that's what everybody wants. So if you want that, you have to be able to take it and give it, because if you don't, If you aren't able to do that, then you're not going to be able to get that. So it takes that ability to have that strong level of energy exchange. And that's why you need to face yourself.
Deep, bro. It should get deep, and people don't like to face that. A lot of men run from that. A men rather just cheat instead of dealing with the problem at home.
I mean, and the problem all comes from within you. It's the leadership.
How do you feel about tantra work? Are you a fan of that, or you're turned off by that, or how do you feel about it?
You mean like
sex tantra,
using certain sexual positions
Yeah.
to stimulate energy?
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, that's. I mean, I don't call it tantra work because I don't really learn from anyone else anymore.
Okay.
I kind of do my own thing and experiment my own way. But yeah, we'll let that hit. But yeah. So in regards to that, yeah, the tantra or whatever you want to call it is obviously it's very important. But it isn't what people think it is. It's not about like using a certain position. It's more like, you know, when the moon is in a certain position in the sky, and when that moon is in a certain sign, there's a certain energy that's exalted.
Mm-hmm.
And that energy being exalted gives you more power in one certain aspect of energy. So like, let's say it's in a full moon in Aries. That's a really aggressive emotional energy.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to be able to expect stronger aggression in that aspect. You know, sex works a lot of the same way as well.
Right.
It's a dynamic situation where the stronger resonant vibration kind of moves with where both of your energies is. So one thing that I really talk about on Twitter is having a strong sense, a strong ability to feel energy. That's like one of the strongest things that comes with sex. When you want better sex, when you want like way stronger sex with your partner, you need to have like that stronger sense of energy to feel where her energy's at, so you can hit it right. And yeah, that's what tantra really touches on. But it's like more of a static system. It's more of like an in-place system. Like you use this certain position. When in reality, you know, the positions kind of move where everyone's energy is. Like I said, with the moon, you know, imagine your woman is like a moon, and her energy shifts from day to day.
And this is my own personal belief. I don't know if you want to expand on it, maybe rephrase it, but I feel like sex is probably the biggest level of manifestation. Because a whole being,
people, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, a whole being is created, right?
Yeah, for most people, definitely. And the reason why I say most people is because most people are not aware of energy, and there's a strong level of exchange that happens. You know, your sperm going into her is a very, very strong level of energy exchange.
But what about if the two people are two very, you know, people that know what's going on, they're intentional about everything? Like, I don't know, man. I just feel like I feel like sex is crazy magic in itself. Like you can manifest a lot of shit with that energy of two people coming together. If you guys are both the mind is built.
Absolutely.
If the mind is built properly, yeah, it's scary.
But let me contribute this idea.
Okay.
There's stronger levels of magic. Let's just say, you know, Donald Trump becoming a president. It is magic what he did. MAGA is a vibration. That was a magical spell casted upon people, and I think that's a very much stronger spell than something like sex. And the only reason why that is, I mean, there is not a lot of vibrational energy that's being exchanged between these people, but the sheer number of people that are reiterating that vibration, that are extending that vibration out, creates a much larger impact, and that's what manifested Trump as being president. Yeah. So when it comes down to magical situations, when it comes down to magical circumstances, it's about how the circumstances play out. So if it's like a love-based thing, then absolutely, there's probably not many things that are stronger than sexual manifestation. But if you really want to solidify that, like imagine telling 1,000 people that you and this girl are meant to be. So that vibration starts to extend out, and there's like things like the 100 monkey effect. That's 100 monkeys. Once that vibration reaches that threshold, it starts to extend outwards.
It's interesting, bro. The world is interesting. What we live in is super interesting to me, bro. And I love your viewpoint, your stance on it, your perspective on what we live in.
Absolutely, I appreciate it, man.
One last tweet that I'm gonna read, and I'm gonna end it with this one.
All right.
Being spiritual doesn't give you a golden ticket to be delusional. That's bars. Yes, facts. You got to be wary at all times.
Yeah.
And because there's a lot of frauds out here, bro. I talk about all the frauds out here, and you talked about that kind of briefly. But how can the people, like, what can you say to the people listening to have and to trust you and want to pursue, maybe reach out to you and see what you have to offer can benefit their life?
I mean, listen, everything that I talk about, in all seriousness, when I really put out knowledge out there, it comes from a lot of experimentation. It comes from a lot of development within my mind, and also the things that I do to affect reality in my own way, to make my own impact on reality. So delusion is not applicable when you want to be applicable. And what I mean by that is, if you want to affect the world in a realistic way, if you want to really make an impact, you can't dilute yourself. You can't just play around with trivial words. You can't just go around saying all these little playful things about words, about how they mix with numbers. Nah, you got to make that shit apply. And when it comes down to application, that's all I focus on. I don't dilute myself because I want to impact the world.
Thank you, Mike. That was deep. This conversation, no bullshit. I'm gonna say this while you're on here with me still. This top one episode to me. This made my top one. This was a fire, bro. Thank you for real.
Man,
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. No, I'm not even bullshitting you because you're on here with me right now. Like, I have my top 5 favorite episodes, and this just definitely bumped the ones I already had, and this became the top one. Definitely, bro. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Appreciate you, Mike.
It, man.
Any last words? They can follow you at what? ML0338.
Absolutely, ML0338. That's the code.
And I have all that. I have your website on the description. I'll have your account in the description so they can find you. And hopefully,
Absolutely.
Hopefully
Appreciate
people take good information from this. But thank you, Mike. I do appreciate you. Hope you have a good day, bro.
You too.
All right, man. I'll stay in touch.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Another powerful episode, man. I'm not even bullshitting you guys. This is my favorite episode. CHRISPIRACY continues to amaze me. These conversations continue to amaze me. Yeah. Hopefully y'all take from this shit, man. You don't have to voice it. You don't have to tell me. Hopefully privately you're taking these gems in. Hopefully privately you're working on you. If you're not feeling, all there, then maybe you got to do some inner work. We all got to do some inner work. Man, today's a double 11 day. I recorded 2 pods today. I'm just going to say it on record. I don't give a fuck. This episode, and I recorded episode 44 as well today with Clyde Warren. But these 2 conversations on the same day, enough food for thought for me. Let me pop Joe Budden podcast back on. The boys is back. Let me pop in my normie shit now, But man, this was a really amazing conversation, and I did not expect it to go this way. Mike is a dope individual. I thought I was gonna get more of a just a hard shell, someone that's not really talkative, but bro really talked, and I appreciate my guests that really explain and just share their views and their perspective and their mind. Again, the mind is very important. It's all about the mind. The mind is God. This is where it starts. The mind. If your mind ain't right, you ain't right, man. Oh man, I love CHRISPIRACY. Y'all. And yeah, we're gonna keep the guests coming. I got another amazing episode next week. I'm not even gonna say next week because I don't even know when this dropping and when the next one's gonna drop. But I got an amazing, whenever y'all hear this, I got an amazing episode in the future with 2 guests. I haven't done a 3-way. Another pause. I said selling sex work. Sex. My bad, Mike. Mike is not he don't do no such shit. I'm sorry. I said it wrong. He focuses on sexual healing energy. I'm sorry. That sounded so wrong after I said it. And he started laughing. I processed it. And I'm like, yeah, that shouldn't have said it like that. And right now, too, 3-way, my first 3-way. No, but the first 3-way podcast that I've done, I haven't done one. So I'm gonna have 2 guests, and I'm gonna give y'all a hint. They are returning guests as well. So yeah, I'm excited. Conspiracy. I'll see you guys next week.
Okay. Grab your folders in your bags. It's the end of class. Good looking Chris X Matt. We'll be sure to make it back for the next session that you're hosting. See you bright and early next showing. Grab your folders in your bags. It's the end of class. Good looking Chris X Matt. We'll be sure to make it back for the next session that you're hosting. See you bright and early next showing.